All right, so with that being said, we're going to get into the main event, bud, from San Diego on ESPN. We had Emmanuel Navarrete versus Charly Suárez. This was for the 130-pound belt that Navarrete holds. Navarrete has fought at 135, but backed down to 130, defending his title there. Now, he struggled to make weight coming into this one. Took him multiple attempts to get on the scale. He made it. He was relieved, and he jumped off that scale quick. In the end...
Yeah, real quick.
Very quick. This fight, they didn't waste any time. From the opening bell, these guys were going at it. There was no backing up. Really, really good action. Navarrete was getting the best of it, especially early on. He buckled Suárez in the first round. Suárez started having some success of his own and made this a very interesting, close fight. And it wouldn't be boxing without some controversy. In the sixth round, Navarrete suffers a brutal head cut above his left eye. Looked like a punch, right? The commentators were back and forth, confusing me on television. Was it a headbutt? Was it a punch? In the end, it was ruled an accidental headbutt. Because of that, the fight goes to the scorecards, and in the end, Navarrete retains his belt and wins the decision. If it was ruled a punch, which I thought it was, and the replays showed, different result. If Navarrete couldn't continue, he would lose his belt. I guess before we get into the fight and the breakdown, was it a punch? Was it a headbutt? And what'd you think of this fight overall?
Beautifully laid out there, bud. Thank you. You put it right on my plate, right here, ready to go. And all I can tell you is, what is the sense of having instant replay if it's not used properly?
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
It was a punch. Look at it 452 times. I can't look at it no more. I'm getting cataracts from how many times they were looking at this damn thing. Look at it and see. See what it is. Have the gumption to go out there and say, yeah, you know what? After look at it 452 times, yeah, it was a punch. It was a punch. And if you made a mistake with the people that say, oh, we can't change, it's change it. You made a mistake, you look at it again, it's a punch. Change it. You're changing someone's life. It was put there. It was put there to get things right. Get it right. It was put there to make sure that somebody didn't suffer more than just getting stitches. He's going to get stitches. Yeah, those stitches will heal. They will get better. All right? The cut will heal. But what will not get better is that loss. He should have a title now, technically. It was a close fight. I thought Navarrete was ahead. But if you're going to go by the rules, he should have a title. Aren't we supposed to go by the rules? Aren't we supposed to live by rules? Otherwise, why do we have rules if we don't abide by them? He should be the champion. And what I say is, when I use that, and I go down that road and use that analogy that, the cut will heal, but they're leaving other things that are open wounds. What won't get a chance to heal or to happen is that he won't now start getting better as a champion, as just feeling what it feels like being a champion. What we talked about in the last fight, what the old timers said about getting 30% better. That process should be starting now with Suárez. That should be starting now. And who knows where that would take him to the next time he fights. That might take him to just being that much of a different person, a different fighter. A fighter that wouldn't start as slow as he started in this fight. Maybe a fighter that just that extra 30% confidence, he starts a little faster. He's a little bit more sure of himself. And they took that away from him. They took the possibility of that happening away. Listen, I'm sure he's going to get a rematch, or I'm sure they're going to work on getting a rematch, and he'll get another shot. He deserves another shot. He's 18-1 now. But he's also 36 years old. Navarrete is 30 years old. That's 6-year difference. Suárez shouldn't, he shouldn't have to wait on anything. At this age, if he got it, give it to him. And Now at 36 years old, he's got to wait. He's got to wait for the cut to heal. He's got to wait to see what decision is made for his next fight. Instead of, like I said, already the process starting that, hey, I'm a champion. I'm a champion. So as far as the fight, I thought Navarrete came out hard and heavy and as the bigger, stronger guy. He was the bigger, stronger guy. You could see. And he was imposing that advantage onto Suarez and catching him a little bit by surprise. Suarez never being in this kind of fight. Navarrete's got 43 fights now. Suarez, this was his 19th fight. So Navarrete, whether it was because he was desperate, because he knew that he didn't have a full tank because of the way he made weight, or whether it was just because he understood that's his style, that's his way. He's an aggressive guy, Navarrete. He's a guy that's fun to watch, and he's a guy that likes to get knockouts, and he's a guy who understood this guy, again, has never been on this stage. Let me jump on him. Let me catch him coming out of the gate. Let me not even let him get out of the gate. That might have been a strategy. It seemed to be a strategy. And it might not have been attached to whether or not he had trouble making weight. Bottom line is, bigger, stronger. He attacked Suarez. He had him hurt. He buzzed him early on. He imposed his physicality onto him. And he used his awkward cleverness. Yeah, I used those two words together, awkward and clever. He's got an awkward cleverness to him that you can knock him all you want for all the mistakes. I heard them all saying, oh my God, he makes so many mistakes. They work for him. So are they really mistakes? They work for him. Because one minute he's going back with the wrong foot, he's going back this way, and then you come after him, and then he's coming forward, and then he's going back, and then he counterpunches, then he's aggressive. Yeah, there's holes in his defense and his technique. No kidding. Really, Captain Obvious? Yeah. We don't need to bring back Ray Arcel and Eddie Fudge, and all those great trainers, Angelo Dundee. We don't need to bring them back to tell us that. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of flaws. A lot of times, sometimes you throw from too far away, you could time them. Sometimes it goes straight back. You could go with him. All of that. But he's awkwardly clever. What he really does is he gets control of something that no one else talks about. The theme, the rhythm of the fight. Or if they do, they don't talk about it a lot. Where he gets the rhythm, and the theme of the fight. He gets the flow of the fight going. Where it's crazy, it's chaotic, but it's his chaos. It's his rhythm. It ain't your rhythm. It ain't your music. It's not even your grandfather's music. It's his music. Latino, little salsa, little bombs, whatever it is. But it's his music. And to beat him, you got to interrupt his music. You got to throw off his timing. You got to fit into those little slots there with those mistakes I just talked about. And that's when Suarez got back in the fight. He started to interrupt the music. He started to get his own tune going. He started to get into those little slots where you can get in there of mistakes. You know what he started doing, Bud? And I'm surprised there wasn't much mentioned. He started timing Navarrete beautifully. Just with timed punches. He's not as big, he's not quite as strong as Navarrete, but he's got his strength, Suarez, he's technically the opposite of Navarrete. He's technically solid. He does things supposedly the right way. The boxing 101 way. The way that makes us feel better. That it's the way that we were taught that it should be done. Straight punches, legs under you, not all over the place like a spider, legs under you, come forward behind the jab, throw punches straight, not round. He does things by the Boxing 101 book. His technique is solid. And that got him back in the fight. And his eyes, his timing. He started timing Navarrete as Navarrete would throw. Bang! He threw a right hand in between. Little bit of the fatness of Navarrete's punch. Little bit of the width of Navarrete. He punched in between. And then Navarrete goes back. He went with him in spots. Navarrete really is the kind of guy, you know what, that old saying, I catch him coming, I catch him going. That's what you got to do. You got to catch him coming, you got to catch him going. Because once he controls the rhythm, he's going to have you don't even know if you're going or coming. You don't even know. You're like, you have to go back to the corner and say, can you give me an idea what the hell's going on over here? Because this guy's over here, he's over there. Can you let me know? Can you give me a compass? Cuss love compasses. He used to tell me he could read a compass. You know, get out of the woods with a compass. West, east, south, north. You don't know which way he's going. But with his good, solid technique, I give credit to Suárez. He started to figure it out. He started to slow down the chaos. He started to change the music and interrupt his music. And he did a really good job. I thought he was still a little behind because the biggest shots were landed early. I thought he was still a little behind when the stoppage and they went to the cards. So I think they got that part right. But technically, right now, we should be talking about Anu because that was a punch. And I would just ask the boxing geniuses out there, you know, I would the boxing geniuses out there that run all these in their states. If you do have replay, please use it properly because it's a dangerous thing in the wrong hands. You know, it's kind of like that warning you get, you know, on the cigarettes. Smoke at your own risk. There is a danger to this. The Attorney General says, you know, the Surgeon General says, there is a danger to smoking. There is a danger to having instant replay, and you don't know how to freaking use it. I'm done, bud.
California State Athletic Commission looked at it and stands by it. And we will see if we get the rematch next. Like we said to open this up, Navarrete struggled to make weight. I don't know by the time this cut heals, if they are to schedule the rematch, can he make the weight still at 130 pounds? But a great fight. I agree with everything you said. To me, it was clearly punched. The one thing before we move on that I want to say is maybe a little luck also for Navarrete, not just with the replay that we're talking about, but the referee bringing him over at the start of that 8th round to the doctor, where the doctor stops the fight. Because his corner wasn't. And the fight was starting to feel, to me, like Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. Suárez was starting to steal those rounds once the blood started dripping. That goes on for 1-2 more rounds at the rate it was going, in my opinion, and then they go to the scorecards. Navarrete might be behind. I thought his corner should have stopped the fight once it started going the other way.
You know what? That's a good point, bud. He was a little fortuitous. It was a little fortuitous. It was the luck was on his side a little bit. You're right. I mean, I can't argue with the way you just presented it because, you know, fighters don't have windshield wipers on their eyes. They don't, Rich. There's no windshield wipe. You know what I mean? You know, that blood starts flowing. I don't want to knock the cut man, but it didn't seem like he really got that under control. Maybe with a little more time, I don't know. But it didn't seem, I mean, you have a cut man. I used to use guys like Eddie Ariano and a few others, Ralph Citro, and there was another guy, he was great, Al Gavin and Nelson. I'm trying to remember his name. There was a few of them. Man, oh man. Those guys, let me tell you, nothing leaked once they got their stuff in there. You know, little Elmer's glue. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, whatever they were using. But it was, they stopped the cut. There was no leaks.
Many cuts in your day, too. Some of the viewers might not be aware of that, but you used to be the cutman and trainer before bringing in a cutman later on, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do everything at the beginning. I mean, that's the way I was brought up. You got to do everything. So the beginning for the first many years of my career, yeah, I did everything. And then later on, when you're privileged enough to be able to actually pay for a cut man, then you bring a cut man in. But, that's part of it. You got a tighter budget, Rich, early on. Fighting in small fights all over the place, all over the country. You got to do everything. You can't be bringing a cut man around, would you? Who's got the money for that? Right? I mean, but then as you grow and God willing, you're successful, then all of a sudden you can bring in a cut man, and it's good because then you can concentrate just on what you need to concentrate on. But I used to do that, and I had some fighters that cut a lot. Some of them we won't get into it or nothing, but some of them cut a little bit early in my career. They would say that during the national anthem they start to bleed.
Well, we will see what is next, and hopefully that cut heals up sooner than later, and we get the rematch for that one because that was a great, entertaining fight. And Suarez, like you said, he deserves the rematch. So